She signs still more, and she gives interviews.
For me, it's a one-to-one with the people that buy the book. There are people that have been with my career for so long. I think it's important that they see me. And we have eye contact when we sign like this. So it's a real kind of personal, and they say wonderful things. Kind of every once in a while I feel like I'm going to cry because they say things that they've been with me for so many years. So to me, it's special for me to do. I don't know if all writers need to or have to. It's according to what kind of book it is. I'm not thinking that my book is going to win any literary prizes. It's kind of very personal. It's like...
it is very personal. I never had any doubt that you'd written it.
Actually, you know, at first they wanted to have someone else to write it, and I just thought, well, I'll give it my best try. And then if it's awful, I know I did it. If it's okay.
Oh, no, it's lovely. Bless you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
I hope you're going to survive.
I'll manage. Thank you.
I can't cover up my feelings in the name of love or playing safe. For a while that was
I have had an incredibly blessed career,
and if living for myself
every time I get an opportunity to do what I do, I'm just really blessed and privileged. And every time I walk on the stage, I realize, I think to myself, you know how privileged and how blessed I am to do the thing that I love to do. It really has a lot to do with my fan base. I must say that a lot of this message of love is to the fan base that have stayed with me over the years. And I don't know if you've ever gone to any of these sites that are fan clubs, and they're just so amazing how much you know about what goes on in my life. And I went like,
and the spirit of life calling Mambela, and a voice with the fear of a child answer. Too great. Hear these words and have faith. Oh, have faith. Through the mirror of my mind, time after time, I see reflections of you and me, reflections of the way life used to be. I need love, love to ease my mind. I need to find someone to call mine. But Mama said you can't hurry love, no, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy, it's a game of give and take. You can't hurry love, no, you just have to wait. You gotta trust, give it time, no matter how long it takes. But how many heartaches must I stand before I find the love to let me live again? Right now the only thing that keeps me hanging on, when I feel my strength, yeah, it's almost gone. I remember Mama said, no, you just have to wait. She said love don't come easy, it's a game of give and take. Hold down the gateway so they'll see that it's me. I know they're wondering about my recovery. Yes, I lost a love that promised happiness. What
She was the sound, the look, and the magic of Motown for nearly 2 decades. With 151 hits and 18 #1 singles, superstar Diana Ross is one of the first female vocalists to cross international boundaries, bringing her unique rhythm and blues sound to the world. She has starred in 3 movies and was nominated for a Best Actress Oscar for her performance in Lady Sings the Blues. She celebrates her 30th year in show business with the publication of her memoirs, Secrets of the Sparrow, and it's a pleasure to have her here. Welcome.
Thank you.
It's great to see you.
Thanks.
Why did you write this? I mean, you were in mid-flight of your life.
Yeah.
And to sit down and think about and to write memoirs takes time. It takes energy. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's cathartic. Why'd you do it?
All those reasons.
Yeah.
It was just at that point in my life. I had been asked to write for many years, but this is my 30th year in show business, and we were doing the collection of box sets.
Yes.
And as I sat to go through each song, I wanted to personalize the box. As I went through that, I found myself thinking about memories on each song, what happened at a recording session, where was I at that point in my life, what was I going through. And it was suggested at that time by people close to me, why don't you just write that down or at least put it on cassette, on tape? And I started doing that.
And
it found itself into musical memoirs and my intimate thoughts about things.
Yeah. And once you started thinking about it, did other memories just flow out?
Yeah, I think our memory is like that. It's like everything's connected.
Yeah.
You know, for me, I was happy to write. I was confused about writing. At first I said I would not write something in defense of anything that had ever been said about me or about my career. But then I thought it'd be nice to have that balance out there for my children so they'll know who I am, what my thinking was, or why I did what I did. So it's a nice balance so people can read what I think about and why I do what I do.
For all the things that have been written about you, some wrong, some right, some from the perspective and the prism
No.
of whoever was writing it, this is a chance for you to say, well, this is the way I saw it, and this is the way it was from where I was, and this is what was inside of my heart.
And mostly it's not just about my career.
Right.
You read a lot about my family life and my children and my mother and my upbringing and how they saw me, my brothers and sisters, how they saw me.
Tell me about your mother, because she seems to have had to read this a real impact, more than your dad.
Yeah. Well, mothers are somehow like that, aren't they?
Yeah, I know. It's the old notion about on the sidelines of football, you never see anybody say, hi, Dad. It is always, hi, Mom.
Yeah, it's amazing. Well, because we all come from the moms, don't
Yes.
we? She was just very much the foundation in my life. And I think a really good mother. I'd like to be the mother that my mother was. She was really there and very supportive. When I wanted to sing, my mother was there to support that. Encourage and travel with us for a while. I mean, left the other 5 kids to kind of travel with me.
And what did they think about that?
Well, I hadn't asked. I think they're all right about it. I have an older sister who's a doctor. Actually, she's dean
She's now dean of the Ohio State School of Osteopathic Medicine.
That's
is that right?
Yes, that's right.
And was there competition between the two of you, or is there still competition between you?
No, we're just
Are you
really
close?
Yeah, very close.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are very close. Probably competition from my point of view, because I thought she was so beautiful and I wanted to be like her, and she was so smart, A student in school, and you know, I wanted to get Mom and Dad's attention all the time.
And how did you do that?
By singing and dancing and being the sparrow, being the clown.
Yeah, why do you call it Secrets of a Sparrow? Have you thought of yourself as a sparrow?
No, my mother used to call me a sparrow.
Yeah.
And my mother loved this spiritual call, His Eye is on a Sparrow, which is a very wonderful song. When my mother passed away, one of my singers sang it at her funeral, and it's a very moving song. But she used to hum it and sing it all the time. It was her favorite song, and I think she felt as if, you know, she was being protected and taken care of.
Yeah. And did she tell you that she wanted it sung at her funeral?
No, she didn't.
Yeah.
No. We didn't know she was going to leave us so
No,
soon.
I know, but I mean, my dad, I knew exactly what my father wanted played and sung, what hymns at his funeral, not because he expected to die, but we just had conversations about what hymns he liked and that kind of thing.
Well, we were from a very gospel family. My mother's father was a minister, Baptist minister in the South, and she's the baby of 12 children, and they all sang in the church, you know, so we come from really a lot of singers.
Is that where it began for you?
Actually, yeah. I don't know if I even wrote that in there, but my first performance was in a church. It wasn't exactly a performance, but I did the 23rd and 24th Psalms. I would stand on the stage and recite these.
And when you were doing that, did you say, boy, this is what I ought to do? This is what I want for my life? I mean, I
No,
love
you
the
don't.
notion of being able to...
No, not then at all.
When did that come, that you said...
I think I was always singing and entertaining the family, but did I think I could have a career? Not until I met Smokey Robinson, and I was a teenager then, I think. I don't know, I can't remember how old I was at all. But I realized that Smokey had made a record and that someone could sing a song and make a record and become a hit and be played on the radio. That was very exciting to me.
Yeah. When you think about people that have made an impact, clearly your mother, where would you put... Tell me about the relationship with your father.
My dad is very important because he was the strength, the force behind our, well, he's just really such a fine character of a man. You look at him, he could have been a politician or something. He just has a lot of dignity and a lot of class, the way he carries himself. And education was very important for his children. And he worked very hard for us to have a nice living. We always had lovely Christmases, and he was just a hard-working man, but not easily held and loved and kissed.
Yeah.
It just kind of really.
Did it ever change? I mean.
Yeah, I think today.
Because fathers get, as the times changed, fathers became much more.
Well, I actually went
unembarrassed. I think, or not embarrassed too.
I went back to Detroit to. We actually were filming for like a documentary.
Yeah. This is about your life.
Yes,
right.
And I had my brothers and sisters were all there, and my dad was there. And not until that day did I realize how, I always talk about moving to the Brewster Projects and how excited we were. Not until that day did I realize that wasn't something he was happy about at that time.
Because of dignity.
Yeah. It said to him that he wasn't able, somehow it said to him that he wasn't able to support his family the way he thought he had planned, and he had to move to the housing project. And my mother was excited about moving there, but my dad wasn't very excited.
Where do you put Berry Gordy in the pantheon of people who touched your life, influenced you, who are a real force?
Almost in every stage. In elementary school, there was a wonderful teacher. I don't know if she's still around. Her name was Mrs. Page, who was wonderful as a guiding person for me. She believed in me, and so in the early days, elementary school. When I met Berry Gordy, I didn't know that he was going to have this kind of impact on my life, but he was about, at that time, one of the brightest young black men I had ever met. I mean, I saw him he was really someone who had a vision, who did not accept his life the way it was.
Man who founded and built Motown Records.
Yes, and really had a vision. And
Did
he's
you
also
fall in love with him early?
No, I didn't. No.
It took you a while, though, to tell your daughter that she was
his child.
His child.
No, not really. It was just the way life, it didn't take that long.
Yeah.
No.
But he was a role model and a strong influence because he was bright, because he'd done something, because...
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's really a marketing genius, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think today people really understand what he did from nothing. It's just like taking a lump of clay and making something into... People think Motown is this big, big company, and when we were making records, it's this tiny little building, just a tiny building on West Grand Boulevard in Detroit, where a big sound came from, the Motown sound.
I don't mean to be gossipy, but I'm interested in him and as well as you. Was he in love with you?
Yeah, I think so.
He was?
Mm-hmm. I think so.
And you couldn't... No,
I loved him very much, but not a passionate kind of love, not the kind of love that I've had with my husbands.
Yeah, okay.
I've loved him in a way you look up to someone that you admire, and I have loved him, yes, and thought I was passionately in love with him, but now as I'm older, I look back and I say, no, it's not the same. Yeah. This is different.
And what is the relationship today?
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I wish he were more out there. I wish he would do a talk show and talk about the things that he's done.
I've asked him.
I even asked him to write a book, because I think the people should know the facts of the company to really know just how it came about, how he had this dream. And, I think he's going to write a book. I hope he's writing.
Talk to me about the Supremes, and because that was part of Motown, and how you saw that group, and what it meant to you, and why it was necessary for you to move on.
Well, there's a lot of things before my moving on. When I met the girls, I was already singing, but I moved to the projects, as I talked about, and that's where I met Florence and Mary and one other girl, Betty. How did I see the group? Yeah, 3 girlfriends growing up and, you know, getting caught up in the whirlwind of success and the movement very quickly there. And then my leaving the group had to do with the growth, I think, you know, growing up.
What you wanted for yourself?
I think all of us, growing in different directions, like some people do in marriages, you know, they get married young and then they change. People aren't the same anymore, you know.
Is it a regret of yours now, and I want to get to what you might, I mean, there's this notion about you, too, that there may be misconceptions. I mean, there is this, some people say she's tough and she's driven and she's monomaniacal about her own career in the best sense of the word. And a lot of people, and most of us, we look at that and say, well, that's an attribute because they cared about a goal and they went and got it, and you've done that clearly, and now are you creating, is this, what misconceptions do you want to address about your life in this book, if any? Image. Is the image of Diana Ross the image that you have?
No. I think, again, what people usually see is this performer, costumes, gowns, wigs, hair, makeup.
They don't see you
know.
On the farm in Connecticut with your
they don't see
children and your husband.
Real, your real life, the real who you are. And I think mostly what I do in that book is talk about my inner thinking. And I hope that the book somehow can be inspirational. My intent is to just talk about what, you know, that if I can, some young girl can, you know, go from where she is to become successful and happy. You know, you don't have to be successful and unhappy.
Have you had both most of the time?
Yes, but again, it's where your focus is. I seem to focus mostly on the good things. And I even work on focusing on the better parts of things. You know, things that are difficult, I just kind of realize that it's difficult and there's a lesson there and I'm learning and I'm going to get better or whatever. But mostly I focus on how wonderful this life is. I mean, I'm a kid that's from Detroit, Brewster Housing Project, and hardworking parents.
Who's been on
second
stages
eldest
around
of
the world and has
6
5 children
and
six children and a wonderful husband.
5 children.
5, sorry, 5.
Give me another one.
Right. Any great regrets?
Great regrets?
Yeah. I mean, where did you make choices that you say, in looking back, I wish I'd gone another direction?
No. I wouldn't change a thing. No.
Has the career in Hollywood been what you might have wanted it to be at one time, after the Oscar nomination, and at the time that you were making a couple of films with Billy D. Williams?
Well, you know, I never felt like Hollywood was my home. I went out there and I worked out there. And when it was time to raise my children, I moved back east to, you know, I like the change of seasons, you know. Also, I like a real life. I like real people and, you know, things like that. So somehow California for me was not, it was more about my work than really living there. I lived there for approximately 7 years through my marriage.
Was it a happy time, though?
Again, I was always working. I didn't start to get a life, girl,
yes,
until I was about in the 80s. I had been singing for 20 years.
Yeah. There is a sense of aloneness in the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I talk about criticism. I talk about being alone, and I think it's really hard for celebrities to have. Well, I don't know.
Peace. Oh no, not peace. What?
No. I don't know what. I don't know. Yeah. But I think we're alone. A lot alone. You know, a lot of times you can perform for millions of people, and you know, I'm sure. I don't know. Maybe you don't feel this way, but I just feel like when you're. I don't think
of myself as a celebrity. That's why.
You don't.
No. I mean, that's quite different. I mean, you're an entertainer.
Whenever you're in a public business, I think you are a celebrity in a sense, and so you're around a lot of people. But maybe in concert, you maybe don't do things like that. But I'm in concert with, you know, big audiences and whatever, and then you come home and you go home by yourself.
Yeah.
And that's where your companionship with your relationship with your husbands and family is very important.
Yeah, but he's traveling around the world all the time as an international businessman. I mean, he's in South Africa as we speak,
Yes.
you know, and you're out promoting the book and the album and your movie
alone.
career. So you are alone. Yeah.
Yes.
Boy, I bet your phone bill must be
Yes,
incredible.
it really is. Yeah. But I was speaking to him yesterday and said, we've got to change this. I'm traveling in one direction, you're traveling in the other direction.
Yeah.
I'm mature enough to understand it because we're both, you know, working
Yeah.
towards our goals. But I feel like the children are very, very important.
Yeah.
And he and I need to really decide. I would like to find some work and recording or whatever I can do from home and not have to travel so much.
Yeah. Well, where does this sense of commitment to the kids? I mean, what comes out of this and comes out of talking
Again,
to you
it comes from my mother,
your own
background family.
Yeah. There was you.
I'm from a big family. I think the family unit has been very important in my upbringing, my mother's life, and somehow it's just transferred over to mine.
When you look at young people today, and there's so many cases of children having children, you know, from all races. You look at them and they look up to you, and you wonder whether you had something that too many kids sadly didn't have, which is the comfort of the family, that strong, noble,
You know, you did an
dignified
interview.
father.
You did an interview with Toni Morrison, and she said something I absolutely agree with. It takes more than two people to raise a family.
Yeah.
You know, I just think everybody is involved in raising children, and I don't understand the word dysfunctional family
I don't
anymore
either, yeah.
because parents, everybody, there's usually two people working in a family. Now you have to, you know. So it's a way of community working together and all of that. And I just feel like my housekeepers and, you know, people that help me, my secretaries and, you know, whoever, they all help me raise my children. You can't do it with just one person or with two. So, I mean, life is just different. There's not like Ozzie and Harriet anymore.
Would you want them to
Or
be...
if there ever was.
Would you want them to be entertainers, your kids?
You know, my daughter Rhonda's got a taste of the spotlight, and Tracy's gotten a taste of it too, and I know that it's in their blood, and I know they love it, and they probably will go into show business. Rhonda's just graduated from college, and I know that she is so good at debate. She could be a host, she could be a lawyer, she could do anything she wants. So now she has her choices. She can do as she like, but best not to go into show business and not have something else that you can fall back on if it does not work. You know.
Has it been? Have you been, by nature of your success? I mean, one of my staff members said.
By the way, this is where I'm most comfortable. Let's talk about my kids.
Yeah, I know. But you also a role model. I mean, you were one of the first. I mean, you can talk about Billie Holiday, and you can talk about a lot of people, but you were one of the first African American superstars. Did that create a burden for you? Did that create a heavy responsibility where you knew that you were under scrutiny all the time?
Yes, that's difficult.
And how do you bear that? And what
You
toll does that take?
You just do. You do. You know, you take it as a positive. Well, I do. I hold it as something positive. That you know, it's important that I am a certain way for others, young kids looking at me, thinking that they can. I don't like the idea of making celebrities who've died on drugs big and important. You know, I mean, I just think, you know, I like the idea of taking a look at the images that make a difference to our young people. I just think it's important.
Do you see any similarities between you and Barbara Streisand?
No, I never thought about it, no.
At all? But I mean, you're a woman who both...
Oh, okay.
You know,
No, I can think of it.
Two of you both same age, approximately the same age.
Yes.
Right?
I'm
both have been
younger
in
than
film,
she
but
is.
you're young several years. But you're in the vicinity of 50. And there's a wonderful
I am.
thing
Next
going.
year.
Yeah, next year you'll be 50. There's a terrific thing happening now. I mean, you know, the cover story on Lauren Hutton about how she and you and a lot of women who are reaching 50 now, it is the golden age of 50-ish women. What do you think of that?
Very exciting.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think it's wonderful.
It really is wonderful.
Yeah.
The
I
truth
mean-
is, you know, not until I passed 35 did I realize my own sexuality. You know,
wait a
I
minute,
got
slow
more
down.
comfortable
Slow
with
down.
myself and who I was, and you know, I liked me better.
All right, we'll start.
And by
Not
40, you
until
know, I
were
remarried and had 2 more babies. It's just like a new life.
You've been married how long? Have you been married about 10 years to the...
8 years now.
8 years.
8 or 9.
Not until you were 35 did you realize your own sexuality?
Yeah, I mean, I became much more womanly. I felt much better in my own body. I mean, I liked myself better. I don't know what it was.
So with self-esteem, essentially, notwithstanding the fact that you'd had hit records and you were a big star in your own head.
In the early days, we were just a product. You know, you didn't realize your real worth or as a person, or that you could somehow make a difference in life, you know, or to other people. You were a product, and it was just moving around and selling records and doing interviews and saying things that were not honest, and just a lot of that. But I guess it got more, I don't know, it got real after a while. I had children, I had to take responsibility for myself, and I just had to grow up and just be real. And I didn't start until but also I'm talking about being a woman. I'm feeling all right about making decisions for myself, and that I didn't need a man around to do that exactly, that I could say yes and I could say no if I didn't want to do something, that being in charge of your own self. You had control of your own
destiny and
it was beginning around that.
And
it took a long time.
but making this to the personal aspect of it, you also at that time began to feel more sensual and sexual and
because
confident.
Once I left the Supremes, for some reason, if you notice the pictures up to the time I left the Supremes, I was so skinny before. I started to gain weight. You know, I started to be healthier in my body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know.
You know.
I do know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But and
I realized I was a sexual being somewhere in there, but it didn't start early.
And rather than a product, you were
a person. You know, with thoughts and feelings and.
Yeah. And did your relationship with men change after that?
Yeah.
No,
it's always been like that.
No, you know what I mean. I mean, the better you think of yourself, the better the relationship is going to be. Clearly, I mean, the more self-esteem you have. I mean, this is, you know, I mean, this is this is human relationship 101. Better choices of men too. Yeah.
Better choices of men that are good and, you know, that you can admire and.
You begin to like a different kind of man.
Yeah. Someone that's nice to me and good to me.
and that you deserved it.
Yes, that's right.
You know, all of that came.
Yeah.
Yeah. And is all that in this book?
Uh-huh. Some of that. Some of that people have to read between the lines. But
I know.
You can only write 280-some pages. That's all you. Yeah. That's it.
And as you approach 50, does it get better?
Yeah, it really does.
It really does.
And again, you know, it's how you feel about yourself. It's how you feel about yourself.
And so what do you say?
I don't feel like, you know, I think when I was younger I must have thought 50, boy, that's old. But I don't feel like that. I think I feel about 37 right now. I mean, inside, I don't know what I look like, but, you know, I feel.
Don't worry about the outside.
Thank you very much.
But you do feel, you feel younger as you approach 50. And what do you want for the next 10 years?
Well, I will always have to have work and you know, I have to be busy, but I don't want to travel the way I've traveled. I like to be at home with my children. I like to spend more time with my husband. You know, I really don't want to tour as much as I've toured. The process of writing has really excited me. I've written a children's book now as well, and I would like to write more. I would enjoy that.
Yeah. Interracial marriage, difficult, or in today's times not a problem?
Not for me.
None. No.
I never see the color of his skin, and I don't see people that way. Maybe that's my upbringing. Now, you know, I really don't. I'm aware of my blackness.
Right.
But I don't go around and look and see whether I'm different than someone else, or that you might be different than me. And I love a person because of their goodness and who they are, more than, you know, what the color of their skin is, or what their hair looks like, or something like that, you know, or even what their clothes look like. It's something that's deeper, much deeper. Music,
clearly, it was a factor in your life early, from gospel and then the early stardom, and it continues, and here is these are musical memoirs, and these two things are connected. Where would you like to be put in the sort of evolution of music? Where should we think of Diana Ross, other than just as a superstar, as a diva, as some said?
I don't want to be remembered just for my music. I feel like I have not had my peak experience yet. I would like to make a difference somehow in people's lives, and children's lives maybe. My focus seems to be more on children. But I don't know. Maybe I just want to be remembered by my children as a good mother. I don't know. I really don't know where I'm going. Where.
Is there any one song in here that you would, if you're going to send a capsule for your grandchildren, in case something had ever happened to you, is that let them hear this? one song that defines me.
There's a new song that's just released from that, and it's called Best Years of My Life. And it's interesting because when I found the song, or when the song found me.
Yeah. How does a song find you?
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
I attract certain things. But this song was sent to me by my... I did a song called If We Hold On Together. There was the title song for the children's movie by Will Jennings,
right.
and he wrote this song and sent it to me, and it's perfect for this.
As soon as you saw it, it spoke to you.
Really
yeah.
did.
Now, what's this documentary they're doing about your life? I mean, who's doing it?
Well, we are putting it together. It's basically just, I wanted to do something more like a docudrama, where it dramatizes some of the things from the book, but yet there's a lot of clips, and it's a combination of not just documentary footage of all the work that you've done over the years, but somehow it tells a bit of a story. So that's what we're in the process of working on.
Might you make other feature films?
I have just, I have this wonderful deal with ABC Television to do movies for TV.
Is this Josephine Baker coming up? Or?
No. I wish I could
Go
have
ahead.
done it. This one is a movie that will be on in possibly March next year for ABC Television. It's about schizophrenia. It's mental illness, and it's a really strong, powerful. I've finished it already. It's going to be out soon.
This is a fiction. This is a feature film for television in which
About
you play someone who has. Do you play someone who has schizophrenia?
Yes. And what in my research I've just found so much about this illness that is amazing. That mostly people think that it's split personalities and so on, but it's a very delicate and.
And here comes a hard question.
Yeah.
What is it you don't want us to know about you? What is it that you might be hiding from us? Anything?
Oh, gosh. I'm pretty open, probably much more open than I should be most of the time, you know. I think I'm pretty honest. I don't think I'm hiding anything.
Any fears?
You? No, it's just easy. No, I don't. I face them constantly. I have to prepare for interviews, in a sense. I prepare by really trying to understand myself, you know, when I get ready to do an interview, for instance. I ask myself almost the questions that you would ask me, you know, before I get here. I said to myself, for instance, not practice, I said to myself, why did you write this book?
Yeah.
You know?
Well,
and I go through all the different kinds of things. You know, why did I write this book? Why, you know, do I do
here's what I think you hold back on. I think you hold back when you talk about the relationship with Berry Gordy. I mean, I don't think you're as open and as honest as I would like for you to be, and probably other people, because that was such a rich history of relationships and a pivotal point in American, in the Motown sound developing, and it had such a hold on so many of us, and especially me growing up in the South. You know?
But that's because you think that there should be more. It doesn't have to be.
No, because I believe there's more. Yeah, I mean, but is that a fair point, that there is a lot more there that you haven't yet told us about that relationship?
Maybe there's a lot more that I don't even understand yet.
Ah. Do you do therapy? Are you in therapy at all? Have you ever
but
been
the
in
book
therapy?
has been like therapy, actually.
In what way?
Getting closer all the time.
Because it makes you understand why you did things and put it all in context?
Yeah, you think. Makes you think. Makes you take the time to try to be accurate about why you do what you do. And a lot of times those answers don't come that easily.
What part of this book made you cry?
My mother part.
Yeah.
I miss my mom.
How long has she been?
This 84. It's almost 10 years. It's a long time.
Still think about it, though.
Yeah. It's a very important part of my life.
But how wonderful it is that she got to know, you know, when she went on the road leaving those other sisters.
But she didn't see my boys, and she didn't meet my husband, and after she had worked so hard for all of us kids, I wanted her to have more and to really be happy. And I wasn't able to do that for her. When she was ill, you know, when someone you love is not well and you don't know enough doctors, you don't have enough money. You can't move mountains. You just have to be there to love them, and that's all.
Yeah. She died of what?
Cancer.
Yeah. And how long was she sick?
Well, from the time my sisters and I heard about it, it was about 2 years the illness took hold totally.
And were you there when she died? Yeah. Toughest time. Huh?
You can't prepare for it at all.
But at least you have time to talk and say things that ought to be said.
I wish I had spent more time knowing her. You know, even my little poetry in my books, I say, I wish I had known her dreams. What did she give up for us, you know, the children, and just knew more about. In fact, in writing the book, I wanted to maybe give my children a little bit of a sense of who I am. you know, so that they say that I knew what my mother was thinking or who she was, and not from some newspaper article that someone has written.
Okay, here's the only, I want to get to this before I leave you. There is this notion.
You're going to leave me?
There is this
I'll leave
notion.
you.
What? You're going to leave me? Yes. There is this notion, at least an impression of you as this superstar who's very much in control, who knows exactly how sensual this photograph on your cover is, that you have an enormous sense of the marketing and the control and the nuances and the calibration of this person called Diana Ross. Savvy, savvy, savvy. No, come on, you acknowledge, yes?
Not really. Taking the photograph, this photograph was taken by a photographer who saw that. It's all in the eye of that photographer. That photographer took that picture, and he was amazed, 49 years old, to take a picture like that. I mean,
he was amazed that a 49-year-old
at the photo session didn't start off like that. Somewhere in the session, as he gave me my confidence, that little one with the finger.
Yeah, right.
Around,
yeah,
you know,
look at this. You go from this
yeah.
to. I sing because I'm happy. I sing because I'm free. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me.
Yes.
Where's that from?
Well, that's from the song, His Eyes on a Sparrow, the spiritual
that your
my
mother
used
liked
to
so
sing.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I also feel that I have been very blessed and watched over and taken care of in my life.
No anger?
No.
No. A really happy person.
Yeah.
You know, with a song in her heart.
Yes, a little bit lonely. I miss my husband. I miss having lots of friends around, and somehow your life takes you in so many different directions that you don't have a chance to have the friendships and to cultivate the friendships. You know, you can't do it over the telephone. It's hard.
Yeah. Did you know you loved this guy like early on, or was this love at first sight?
Yeah, this was. Yeah. This was pretty special.
Where did you meet him? In Europe?
In Nassau.
In Nassau.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He's Norwegian by birth?
Yes, and he had just climbed Mount Everest. And he had come home, and he was taking his children to a weekend in Nassau to be with his kids. He's a mountain climber.
Right.
He's in the shipping business, but he really is a scruffy mountain climber.
If he's gone up Mount Everest, he clearly has reason to claim.
In fact, he wants to climb a mountain
climber.
next year. And I'm saying, do you really still have to do that?
Well, don't you ever want to go with him up the mountain?
Well, I did go to Nepal with him, and I went to base camp. But, I mean, it was too cold. I mean, he doesn't care anything about the cold weather. I'd rather be in the sun, I think.
Yeah. Great to have you here.
Okay.
It really is a pleasure to meet you.
Thanks,
and to see and to
So you want more? You want more about Berry Gordy, huh?
No, I just want to know more. I do just, I sometimes, you know, clearly you have to engage in certain kind of editing in your own mind, you know. I mean, I want to know more about the sort of evolution of you, because you seem to be so together.
Thank you.
You know, I mean, clearly happy and together, and you know, as always, people, you form impressions of people from afar you and I had never met, you know. And then when you see them, I mean, I walked in here a little bit late, and I thought, boy, she's going to give me such a hard time because I'm a little
Did I?
No, you didn't. A little bit, a little bit. Memoirs, Diana Ross, Memoirs, Secrets of a Sparrow, and also a bunch of new songs. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome, Charlie.